What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran, giving you that Friday energy on a Wednesday. We are joined by the lovely Trent Ryan, a.k.a. Trent Barstool, a.k.a. Trent Daddy, a.k.a. Luggage Guy Trent. Love to have him here.
A.k.a. Barstool Trent.
A.k.a. Barstool Trent. We can flip it around as well. This show is presented to you by Dat Chat. You guys know how much we love Dat Chat, especially on Bachelor nights where you guys absolutely blow up the Cutting Stems group. We can't even get a fucking word in, but we try, and we love seeing your guys' takes on there, as well as the Chicks in the Office group. You can download datchat.com/barstool, get involved. We love talking to you guys on the group. I pop in Dat Chat every day. I like seeing what you guys have to say. We take your advice on it. We even took your advice on there about the Harry Potter, or as Trent liked to call it, the Potter Pod in the future. We took the name from there, which we will talk about on the next episode. But once again, download Dat Chat. Love to see you guys on there. No screen recording, no screenshotting. Very fun. We will get into the Bachelor recap in just a moment. We have a little dentist update from Noah. We told everybody on the last podcast that we would keep them updated about Noah's dentist appointment, and he specifically asked that we ask him about it because big things are happening.
Because I can't think about anything else.
My worst fears were confirmed when he had said, like, I gotta go to the dentist. He's like, I got a bad cavity, wisdom teeth. In my mind, I was like, uh-oh.
Dude, I walked in here this morning. I saw Noah for the first time today, and he looked shell-shocked.
Yeah. He texted us floored.
I thought something was really wrong. I was like, what's going on?
I actually want to read the text from Noah this morning that he sent us.
He texted us leaving the dentist just...
You looked white in the face. You looked a little clammy. Like, I really thought something was really wrong.
I'd also like to say, I don't even know if I've ever had a cavity before in my entire life. Like, confirmed. I took pride in that.
Well, this is
11:49 a.m.
You go to the dentist a lot more when you're younger and your parents make you go, and then as soon as you stop, you haven't been in like 10 years.
Actually, 10:24 a.m. The dentist just gave me an x-ray and goes, wow, when she saw the cavity. Then he said, it's a root canal and I have other cavities. Gonna kill myself. Then at 11:50 a.m., Fran just wrote,
It kept getting worse.
Yeah.
It kept getting worse.
At 11:50 a.m., he writes, I'm speechless after that dentist visit. That's all I could say. Yeah.
Man.
So why don't you give us a little inside scoop as to really what happened?
All right. Well, to recap, last time I just went to this other dentist because my tooth hurt. I was like, oh, it's probably, I don't know what it is. It's like a toothache. Maybe I have a cavity, like one cavity. They were like, you're probably going to have to get all your wisdom teeth taken out. And I'm like, Jesus. And then they're like, also, this scan we did isn't even 4 cavities, but somehow this one cavity is so big that it's showing up. So you should really get that checked out because it could, like, I don't even know how you're not having pain. And then so I like, a couple weeks went by and I'm like, oh, maybe I should go to the dentist. And so I went to this dentist and they did the x-ray. And she was like, yeah, she pulled it up on screen and immediately was like, wow, like, you are not kidding. That is like a gigantic. And she's like, look how close to the nerve it is. Oh. And I'm like, so I'm like, all right, well, one cavity, I'll get it fixed. And then whatever, the dentist comes in and she's like, oh yeah, that's a root canal. Like, that is not a cavity. Like,
yeah.
That's like, and then she's like, that's so close to your nerve on the tooth and the jaw, I guess, that we can't even operate. You need to go to like a specialist. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Well, like, I guess that's the worst there is. And she's like, also, like, you see how your wisdom teeth are like pushing against your teeth, like that might be why.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna have to get all those removed. And then they're like, but let's do. And they're also kept like kind of just taking shots at my teeth, being like, they kept asking, when's the last time you like saw a dentist? Like, they're like, you have so much buildup in all your teeth.
Well, first of all, the dentists love to do that. That's like their favorite thing, to be like, well, how long has it been?
Yeah. They're like, you don't have a dentist. They're like, you don't have. I'm like, no, I don't have one. And they were like, you drink a lot of coffee, like you have so many stains on your teeth. I'm like,
do you drink coffee?
Yeah, I
Every
drink
day.
a lot of coffee. And but they're like, yeah, let's do. And they're like, you grind your teeth a lot? They're like, the enamel on your molars are just gone. Like, there's none. They're like, it looks like you sawed off the, like.
Wow.
And then they did, so I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's the worst. And they're like, they cleaned my teeth, which took forever. And like,
yeah.
And she did compliment my teeth. And she's like, oh, like, it looks better when they're clean. Like, you have really nice teeth. And then they did like a million different x-rays of my entire mouth. And she came in and like examined them all. And she was like, all right, so guess how many cavities I have.
My guess is going to be 14. That's like half the amount of teeth in your mouth, no? How many teeth do you have? I forget the number.
28?
28? right?
I don't know.
Is that it?
Know.
That sounds right. I was going to say 4.
Hold on. How many teeth do we have?
It's got to be in the high 20s.
32.
My whole life is falling apart. My real estate agent's texting me right now.
Oh, no, 28.
Okay.
Once your wisdom teeth are removed.
Well, so I still have them.
So he
but-
still has his wisdom teeth. So Ria's going half his mouth is full of cavities.
Yes.
That's a
I'm gonna
big
go.
guess.
I'm gonna go 8.
Fran's the closest. I have 9.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was actually gonna
mean,
go. I was gonna say 8 or 10.
14 is not that crazy
I
compared
was
to
gonna say
9.
8 or 10.
Now that we know the number, yeah.
9.
That's so
9 is
many,
a
dude.
Shit
9.
ton.
I was like, I'm like, how do like?
How do we proceed?
No, yeah, that's what I was like. I was
Holy
like, what do
moly!
I do? She's
What
like,
do you do? I've never had a cavity.
So, I don't know. I had to call the
I had them when I was a
specialist.
kid.
yeah.
And like I'm getting my first 2 filled on Friday. We're starting with the upper right side of my mouth, and then I don't know. Like I really the root canal is like they're making it seem like this is a ticking time bomb, and like at any second like that thing could just hit my nerve, and like I'll be like not be
You'll
able to
drop
walk.
to the
Yeah.
ground.
They're like we've seen like massive guys come in here, like big strong guys, and like crying.
All right,
And
so
I'm
now
like,
they're being mean to you.
no, I was like.
We've seen
definitely
way
being
bigger
mean.
dudes than you walking into this place.
definitely scaring you, but yeah, that's something you gotta take care of.
But I'm
For
just like,
sure.
there's so many. Like
just
I'm
not
gonna
gonna
be
go
in
to
the
the dentist.
dentist office the whole year. Like,
Right, the fact that they said we're going to start with the upper right,
Yeah.
like you got to move in
Yeah.
the
factions.
lady at the front was like, "What are we starting with?" And she's like, "Upper right." I'm like, and there's only 2.
No, I feel terribly sorry for you. Honestly, I think that pain is just excruciating.
The crazy
and-
thing is, I don't
Yeah.
have any pain.
Yeah,
Right?
he doesn't
And
seem
no,
like
I
he's in
know.
pain.
I'm just saying it's gonna be painful, but also selfishly, it's gonna be a pain in the ass trying to schedule shit with no one going to the
I
dentist so
know.
much this
I
year.
know. My dentist. I need to find an apartment. Like,
Man.
Life is really catching up to
Life
you.
is seriously catching up to Noah.
yeah, I don't even want. Like, that's why I don't like to go to doctor. Like, cause I
26
things
and
happen.
things are
Cause then
starting
you
to change.
find bad things. when
I'm
you
not
go.
going to
Yeah.
the dentist.
Yeah, I will say, in your defense, not really defense, but
You should go to the dentist.
I couldn't tell you last time I went to the dentist.
Yeah.
Probably not a
neither.
great thing,
The
but
last time was when I got my wisdom teeth out, which was 5 years
But
ago.
our teeth are so important.
Another
I brush these suckers a lot.
another thing that she
Yeah.
just mentioned, like, the lady cleaning my teeth was like, "Oh, like some of your gum is like not like kind of like off of some of your teeth." And
They
she goes,
say that
no,
shit though.
but
Like
she-
they say that.
She was like, this one specifically, like, you better watch out because like you can't go backwards. Like there's no fixing it. But if it gets really bad, like you might need gum surgery. I'm like, what?
They,
Are-
okay,
are-
the
Dentists
last,
just like to
no, the
rack
la-
up the
the
fucking
last-
Right,
money.
it's like going to get
The
your oil
last
changed, like
time-
you got to get a new
yeah.
engine.
The last
They
time
go,
I
"Your
went to the
retainer's
dentist, they
broken."
gave me
It's like the
that. They
iPhone.
gave me that same
Yeah.
spiel
Yeah.
about the gum.
I
thing.
have these permanent
They said the
retainers,
same thing to me
And
last
she said
time.
the top one, she's like, it's not connected. So like you better get that fixed because otherwise your teeth are going to go back to the way they were. I was like,
No, they always give you a long list of things you have to do, and then you got to prioritize like what's really.
well, the root canal is obviously number 1, but they're like, yeah, you need a real and they kept saying like, you can't just get anyone to do this because like if they fuck your nerve up, that's your whole life. She was like, that's your whole life, and your whole life's a long time.
We definitely have some dentists that listen to this podcast. If you want to reach out to our pal Noah
And make him feel
Because
okay?
the only
Yeah.
guy that can do this apparently is not under our
and tell
insurance.
him that
and
he like should go too. Like I feel like the root canal is probably
the
the
root
most
canal is the
pressing
most
thing.
important.
They have to.
When
Then
you
they're
don't
like,
want to fuck up a nerve.
and then they have to put a crown on my tooth after that. Like,
That happens.
yeah,
I know, but
that's pretty standard.
when is this all gonna happen? Like,
I don't know what to
We
tell
don't
you,
have the
Noah, but you
time.
just
And how long was this dentist
that one
visit?
dentist trip aged you a long time. It appears.
real estate agents hitting me up
Yeah.
right now.
Man, it's all.
I wanna say that
crumbling
Getting
down.
out of his
we were
apartment.
supposed to record at 1:30, then it got pushed back to 2, and then it got pushed back to right now, which is I think 3:30. I
Yeah.
have no idea. But right before we recorded, Noah looked at all of us and said, "Guys, my real estate agent's gonna be here in 30 minutes. I'm gonna have to step out." I was like, Noah grew up 20 years this
Yeah.
morning.
Right. The dentist
Right.
trip was really sobering.
How many hours were you at the dentist?
Probably like almost 2.
That's actually not too
It's not
bad.
that bad.
And yeah, no, it's. I just walked out of there like, even the security guard looked at me and I think was worried about me. I was like, wow, like,
Yeah.
because you go in, I just went in like, oh, they'll fix my cavity. Like it won't be that
Right.
complicated.
Your whole
Right.
world has changed.
Right.
it's all
Damn.
my teeth, like 9.
Well, kids, if that
don't
ain't a
wanna fucking
lesson
know
to
how many
maybe go
cavities
to
I
the
have.
dentist a little more frequently.
And I like brush
Or
my
don't go
teeth,
at
like-
all.
Yeah.
Like either way.
Also an option, probably not the best one, but
Definitely not the best one.
Yeah, I just wonder how long I have until this thing explodes in my mouth.
Yeah.
That was like how long I have. Like he's gonna die.
I really like. I'm gonna stop chewing on the left side of my mouth. Like I don't.
Oh boy.
Don't do that.
Did they give you like a time frame where they were like, you definitely should go?
No, I was like, so should I
soon,
do the root
or-
canal first? She's like, yeah, like, and then we'll do all the like. She's like, obviously we can't do this all at once. Like it's gonna be a whole thing. I'm like, she's like, yeah. She said she's gonna give me a mouth guard so I don't grind my teeth. Like, when would I wear that?
At
like,
night.
You wear it at night.
You grind your teeth at night. You definitely grind your teeth at night. You're a
I grind
Oh,
very
my teeth
stressed
during,
out person.
I know. I grind my
I
teeth
have
during
one.
the day. Like, do you wear it at night?
From time to time when I remember, yeah. It actually does help, shockingly, because I grind my teeth at night big time.
I grind my teeth during the day,
Yeah.
honestly.
Whew. Well,
Man.
A lot going on.
a lot going on for Noah. We're rooting for you. Everyone send your thoughts and prayers at Stassi Baby on Instagram.
Yeah.
That'll make him feel better. Shall we get into the
Definitely
Bachelor recap?
That we shall. Let's kick it off. Week 2 of The Bachelor. We are back in the mansion. The girls are freaking out. This legendary place. They're just fangirling over the mansion. And the first group date is at another quote-unquote mansion, Beverly Hills. It's at a Beverly Hills McMansion. They're walking to the house. It's stunning. They go into the backyard.
McMansion?
That's what McMansion. That's kind of what they called it.
Well,
Where does that name come from?
McMansion's like just like a bigger mansion.
A McMansion?
No, like a I know what you're thinking of.
I'm thinking about McDonald's.
Yes.
I'm thinking about the
Yeah.
McMansion in on Jericho Turnpike on Long Island.
Yes, yes. It
That
is
one I'm
also
not
a
familiar
term used for like a mega mansion.
McMansion sounds like it'd be a smaller mansion.
All I can picture is I can just picture the golden arches outside of the mansion. That's what makes it a McMansion to me.
I'm thinking, well, I originally thought McDonald's too,
Yeah.
but now hearing that McMansion means a bigger mansion, I would think a McMansion
Oh, it's
would
actually-
be a smaller mansion.
A McMansion is a term in suburban communities for a large mass-produced dwelling marketed to the upper middle class, mainly in the United States.
So it's a smaller mansion.
It seems
Mass-produced
not-
confused me there.
not necessarily a smaller mansion. It just seems like it's when they're in a neighborhood full of big houses.
Oh, so it's just a
Like a carbon copy?
Yeah, not a carbon copy.
it's an
Mansion is
offspring mansion.
Describes a large, often opulent or ostentatious mass-produced house.
Ostentatious. I really like that word.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I know less now than I did at the beginning about McMansion.
Like you know who you would consider like a McMansion, probably like Teresa Giudice's house. Like one of those big giant New Jersey McMansions in those neighborhoods where they're just house after house after house.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be my biggest guess, I would say.
Maria, thoughts?
No thoughts.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's where they are. They're in a big house, folks.
That's interesting because in my head, watching the episode last night, I had thought that they had stayed at the Bachelor Mansion and they were just like in a place
Yeah.
that we hadn't seen
No,
before.
different place.
Okay.
They went to Beverly Hills and they go into the backyard. It's a kids' party. Surprise! Children are there because Clayton loves kids. We had to kick it off right away with kids on a date and Hillary Duff.
Amazing.
Hillary Duff.
Hillary Duff.
I would imagine we're all Hillary Duff fans in the house.
Big Hillary Duff fans. Trent did say that he watched Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah.
Oh.
You did see.
Yeah, I watched.
Yeah.
Scumbags.
Yeah, as a kid, do we want to address that?
Assholes.
Or
No,
I'll address it
okay.
go ahead.
quickly. Last night, I couldn't be at Cutting Stems. Did any of my fellow co-hosts of Cutting Stems mention that I wasn't there or acknowledge me in any way, shape, or form at the start of the show? No, they were all too distracted by a stool full of chocolate-covered strawberries.
Which
in
were delicious.
We were
Placed me,
distracted by
and
those.
you were distracted, rightfully so. I think they're delicious. Shout out Edible Arrangements. But I was watching the whole thing because
Yeah.
I'm very supportive and I was rooting for you guys and I retweeted all of it. Go watch my friends. And I'm watching and I just hear nothing. I hear nothing about the fact that I'm not there, as if I've never even been on the show before. The YouTube chat, they're upset. They're like, respect for Rhea, hashtag respect for Rhea.
You weren't egging them on or anything.
I know I wasn't. I was not egging them on in the chat at all, telling them to say those things.
Okay.
They started that on their own.
Okay.
And they were very upset, and they were like, you know what? You should call and demand respect right now. So I blew up all your phones. First off, I called who I thought would be the most welcoming to me. And, you know, credit to him. He doesn't put his sound on or look at his phone during the show, which I think is very
professional
and appropriate. But I called him, and he did not pick up. So I left him a very nice voicemail.
I'm going to play that voicemail now for everyone.
Hey, Trent, fuck you.
That was it.
I understood. I understand now the anger.
And so then I called Francesca, who I'm closest with, and she picked up. She answered, and she said, "What could you possibly want?"
Yeah.
Which was a very rude way to pick up the phone. And I said, "I want respect."
Yeah, super fair.
Yeah.
In which you guys then gave me, and I appreciate it. And I think you guys did a spectacular job. I was very captivated by your guys' show. I think you guys are awesome hosts. I think you guys are all very talented. I think that you guys are very knowledgeable about The Bachelor. I think you guys are star-studded. I think you guys are beautiful. I think you're everything of the sorts. And it would be nice if you guys felt that way about me.
We do feel that way.
I don't feel that way.
We do
I
feel
do
that
not
way.
feel that way. Because also I let out a take in the group chat prior to that.
Please do not bring this up right now.
I told everyone that I would. Okay, fine. I won't. Forget it. I won't.
It has nothing to do with The Bachelor.
It does because it was a commercial during the show.
What?
But anyways, you know.
What she and Devin argued with us about all night.
Oh.
Yeah, I won't bring it up. Forget it. We'll move past. The people will be begging to hear
people
about
are
it.
now going to be annoyed.
Now that's okay. We'll just move past it because the listeners know that I tried and you guys pushed back.
I mean, the listeners know, but the listeners also are like, you're talking about The Bachelor and you don't talk about The Bachelor.
The listeners, half of them will say that. And half of them, or
Why
maybe
don't
a
you
select
state
few.
your argument, and none of us will.
No,
let's do that.
Let's do that.
No, state it. Yeah.
don't
State
want
your
to.
take,
No,
and
I don't
none of
want
us
to.
will talk
No,
about
I think
it.
you
I'm
should.
feeling
If you don't,
unhinged,
I'm gonna-
and I'd like
now
to keep
now
you.
you don't want to do it.
If you
Yeah.
don't, I'm gonna do it.
No, don't you
I
fucking
will.
dare. I will throw a high.
it right
I will
now.
throw a high noon at you.
I will do it right now.
So listen, because we
I don't want to debate it, but I
don't
will
either. We
throw
debated
out
it.
Do not.
We debated it a lot in the chat last night.
So now who's
we've
holding
done
it
that.
back from the
So then
listeners?
I think
I
if
am.
you state what it is, we don't have to debate it again. But the listeners,
The listeners are being punished because of you guys.
No,
let's
you're
get
the
on
one
with the recap.
punishing them now.
No,
Yeah, it is.
I am.
Rhea is.
I am
If you want to
punishing them.
know,
Noah, you say it.
yeah, should I say?
No, I
Yeah.
don't want. I don't
Say
want
it.
it to come out of anyone's mouth except mine.
Then
Then say it.
No, we've built up too much hype. Let's
Yeah,
let's
what?
continue
We have
on.
built up too much hype, so now you're going to disappoint them even more.
Fine. I'll say it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dennis Rodman is the Pete Davidson of basketball players.
And we'll just leave it at that.
That is not how it was originally stated.
That is exactly how it was originally stated.
I think it was.
Exactly
I think it
to
was.
a T.
Was it?
Dennis
Basketball
Rodman
players?
is the Pete Davidson of basketball players.
Okay. We were not going to debate it. Most
What did
of
you
us
think
disagreed.
I said?
I just thought
It
like you
turned
were like
into another.
it turned into another thing. It felt like
that I was saying Dennis Rodman was like hot and sexy.
that
then
they
you
that
were
they're
try-
like. I thought you were just arguing
trying
that
to-
they're more like the same person.
That's basically what you were arguing. And like that they would
I
dress the
was
same,
not
which they don't.
saying that they are the same person. I was saying that because Dennis Rodman popped up on the screen in a commercial, and the way he was dressed, and
You were sending
he's the
pictures
Davidson
of Pete
basketball
Davidson being
players.
like, look, you would send one of Dennis Rodman in like a dress and then one of Pete Davidson in like a colorful shirt and be like, look.
Fine, Dennis Rodman is more like Harry Styles.
He's close. Yeah. Like, I think someone
Right.
sent Jaden Smith. That's
I
a
think
closer.
the argument fails at just one precedes the other.
It's the
Like,
energy. Okay, this
Dennis
is what
Rodman
I mean by it.
was
Okay,
around
this is more,
way earlier
this
than
is
all
more
these
what I mean
people
by
that you
this.
mentioned. So if anything, Harry Styles and Pete
No, no, no,
Davidson
no.
are the Dennis
No, no.
Rodman of now.
Yes, this is more what I mean by this. Okay?
Yes. And then we're done.
And then we're done with this, and I apologize to the listeners for even bringing it up. I'm sorry. Pete Davidson is not a classically good-looking guy, okay? In books wise, right? Handsome, no. Sexy, hot, has an aura to him. Yes, correct. Can we get correct around the room?
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Dennis Rodman, not classically good-looking, handsome guy,
Okay.
but his aura, hot.
That is where we disagree. For me, that is where I personally disagree.
I'd also say if we're talking about auras, they both do have an aura, but I'd say they're very different auras. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
Dennis Rodman is in your face, out. He's just out there going crazy.
Yes, I wouldn't
and
say
Pete
they're
Davidson's
so
pretty reserved.
Yeah, do you think? Yeah, Pete Davidson's not hanging out with Kim Jong Un.
Right.
Yeah, you know what?
He's a much more
the more
reserved,
we talk about
he's
this
a much
take,
more reserved human being, as much as how he
Pete
does
Davidson's not
dress
even on social
occasionally.
media.
Dennis Rodman is not reserved.
I would say they're almost opposites in that way.
Yeah.
Rodman was Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson's like Pete Davidson. Those are.
all right. So
Okay.
I'm wrong. And my take is bad. I was high.
Breaking news.
I had to remove you from the group at one point.
Right.
Well, then it got to the point where Devin and I were just trolling. Like, I said that kind of as a joke, and then you guys were so against it that Devin and I could not stop laughing, sending pictures of Dennis Rodman, being like, no, look, Pete Davidson dresses like this. I almost had Devin Photoshop Pete Davidson on a picture of Dennis Rodman to be like, look, I found the photo of Pete Davidson in a crop top. But we didn't want to take it that far. You guys, Anyways, whatever. I just want to kill myself. But
What?
I don't know what is going on. Are you okay?
I'm great.
Because I feel like you're also just going to be like, you know what, guys? I'm high.
I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not right now. I just feel embarrassed about my take.
Can't be embarrassed. You threw it out there. You got to stick with it.
Yeah, you're right.
You know? Whether we agree or disagree.
It's more so
you
lingering
opened a discussion.
Lingering effect of cutting stems last night. That's what more is.
Okay.
I would like to apologize for that.
100%. That was
so big
very
of you.
worthy of that was our fault.
I
Big
would
time.
never do a show without you guys and not mention you weren't there. I would always mention you guys.
Yeah,
So thank you.
I believe
appreciate that.
I believe it when you say
Thank
that.
you.
Yes.
I do it every time.
You do? Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
That was a screw up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shows how much you guys care about me, but let's go.
I don't even know what to say anymore. You want to do the recap?
Group date.
Sure. I'll start it off. So
Yeah.
there was a group. No, go ahead.
Hillary Duff was the
Was that where we left off?
Yep. Right at the beginning.
Oh, yeah,
Hillary
Lizzie
Duff,
McGuire.
Lizzie McGuire. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes,
really-
because on Cutting Stems last night,
I
Trent
really-
and then he watched Lizzie McGuire.
I do. I
watched
really,
Lizzie
I really
McGuire.
liked Lizzie McGuire, and I really like Hillary Duff. Seems very well adjusted. Seems like that can
As
go.
far as child stars,
Yeah,
I agree.
that can go.
Maybe
Obviously,
one of the most.
I would say right up there, one of two ways, and she seems very happy. She's great.
Has she done anything recently? Like in
Multiple things. She's got
Multiple
How I
things.
Met Your Father coming out.
yes.
Duh, that's why
Younger.
she was there. How I Met Your Father. She's promoting. It, You know, that's on Hulu. Disney owns everything, and she was on every season of Younger.
Oh, okay, so just stuff I
You did not consume
watch,
clearly. Yes. So the girls all freak out. Of course. Why would you not freak out? Of all the people that they have had host or guest host, whatever you want to call it, a group date, she's up there as one of the most famous, I think.
Definitely.
There has
Yeah.
been a few. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. Remember when they did
Oh,
one?
That's what I was
yeah.
trying to think
Yeah.
of. Sarah Hyland never did it, did she?
I don't think so.
I
Or maybe.
No.
But Hillary Duff is more famous than Sarah Hyland.
way more
That's
famous.
that's interesting.
Interesting.
I mean, way
What?
more famous. Like
Who
that's
are
not
you
even,
saying?
Not even close.
Hillary Duff is way more famous.
Way more famous, you
Yeah.
think?
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm-
Modern Family's
I'm-
pretty popular. I'm not arguing for the one.
shocked
I
that
don't
she's
she's
actually
even
not
a
know.
the
discussion.
star of Modern Family. Like, there's
Yeah.
so many people on Modern Family. Like,
Hillary Duff has been
It's
around
Hillary
for quite
Duff.
some time.
just the name
No,
alone.
absolutely.
Like,
I'm
absolutely.
going
I
into
just
this-
went. I went to where your brain went, Trent, of just
Trent,
the
what's her name on
insane
Modern Family?
popularity of Modern Family.
Oh,
Modern Family.
I love
so
Modern
you
Family.
can't
too.
even think of it.
No, I can't.
And what was Hillary Duff's most famous name?
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
Lizzie
Lizzie
McGuire.
McGuire is Lizzie McGuire.
I want you to know that I went into that not knowing the answer.
And also, like, you don't even need to. She's like at the level of it's like you don't need to even
Yeah.
know her real name. You know, like when we saw her in LA, Natalie was like, "Oh, Lizzie McGuire." Like,
yeah. No, you guys are right.
No,
I
you're
think
no.
you're right.
I definitely
we are.
right.
Yeah.
It's true. But Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis definitely. That
They're
was
up
a big
there.
one. That
They're-
was a big one. That's the one you always have to cite.
Yeah.
What season were they on? Ben Higgins? Because of Chris Soules?
No, it wasn't Souls. I think
Trying
it
to think
was.
if it was the Iowa connection.
Bigfoot, you mind
was
moving
it,
that?
yeah, I'm being abused. Is it? Was it Vial?
Was it?
I don't know.
Or this might have been the Bachelorette. Oh, it was the Bachelorette.
Hannah Brown.
JoJo? Becca?
Mila.
I wonder.
Rachel Lindsay.
Wow. Okay.
Pow. Rachel Lindsay.
More recent than I would have thought.
Yeah, Rachel Lindsay.
Yeah, no, those are. It's cool when they get famous people to do the show.
Yeah, and it was also funny watching too because Kelly was like, as Kelly said it out loud, one of the girls on the date said it on the show. Like, Kelly was like, Hillary Duff was my first concert ever. And then right after the girl was like, Hillary Duff was my first concert ever. I think it was Cassidy. She was freaking out over Hillary Duff, which is super, super fair. The whole date was like to set up a kid's birthday party. Everybody had tasks, cakes, setting up like activities. There was one about like building a house type structure.
Yep.
And Cassidy participated in none of it.
Yeah, we get this every couple seasons where there's a person who takes the angle of, or a contestant who says, I'm here for love, I'm here to get engaged, I'm here to date the bachelor or bachelorette, and all this other stuff is just noise that I'm not going to participate in, which I think is fine. And I would imagine there's people who watch the show who think the same thing. Like, why are we doing all these activities when the goal is to try to have a connection with the main, with the bachelor or the bachelorette? But also the way that Cassidy went about it was mean to the other girls and just annoying. Like her pulling Clayton aside while all the other girls were doing whatever they were supposed to be doing and just making out with him by the pool. That's not cool. You're on a TV show.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you have to at least somewhat participate in what's going on. And Cassidy was just like, I'm bigger than this. I'm better than this. I don't like kids. Clayton, let's go make out by the pool.
How much of this do we put on Clayton, though, at all? Like, do we put any of it on him to be able to be like, let's guide her back to the group?
No.
No?
I don't think that's his job.
It was just a question.
No, I think it's valid, but I think that he like
Girls trying to make out with you, you make out with her.
Yeah.
Good looking girl wants to make out with you by the pool.
You make out with her by the pool.
You do.
Yeah.
And he's pretty green to this whole
Right.
thing.
And I can't remember like any group date where like even a bachelor or bachelorette getting a lot of attention from one contestant was like, you should really go back to the activity.
right? Like
nothing pops into my head.
Enough about me.
Excuse me,
Let's get back to
Cassie.
the group.
Gabby's clearly building that dollhouse alone, and I think you should get off my lap and go and go build the dollhouse. With Cassidy, though, it's funny because, and she just went into it so hard. I think it's harder to rail into Cassidy as much because she so clearly went into this trying to be the villain. Like, it's one thing to have it be edited or like cut up and you're trying to be nice and like you end up being the villain and you didn't even know and you're watching. I think she deliberately went into this hitting all the notes. Like, she was like, I'm not here to build a house. I'm here to build a relationship. Like, she knew exactly what she was doing, I think on purpose. And from what I have seen from her social media, I think this chick was trying to be as famous on reality TV as possible. There's like this Instagram story that's going around right now that must have been from right after New Year's or before New Year's when the first episode was airing. And she's talking about like, I would be a good influencer and like guys, like why don't they, like talking about going on dates with guys and how they're still not giving her the time of day, but like wait until I'm on national television. She was really in it for, and not shocking at all, in it to be on national television, like she said many times in that video. And
It's good for the show.
this is what I'm saying. Like, I don't even have as much criticism because she's executing her plan perfectly.
Right. I mean, you can appreciate, I don't know if that's the right word, what she's going for, and also understand the other girls in the house being like, this girl is a problem.
Yeah,
I understand both sides of it. It's like, how are we going to hate her when this is the kind of stuff we root for on the show?
Right.
And so, like, I don't hate her. Do I find her, if I was in the other women's shoes, annoying? Yes. But also, if your plan is to be with the Bachelor and you want all the attention and you want to make out with him, then she is going to do all of that.
I certainly don't hate her, but I enjoy rooting against her.
Oh yeah,
that's like part of it. You know what I mean?
You got to be able to root against
like
people.
It's fun to have somebody to boo.
Yeah,
that's
When
always
you have
fun.
When you have a person at a child's birthday party, whether those children are actors or not, and is like, yeah, I really try and avoid small people as much as I humanly can. Like, she either is leaning in so deep or like actually hates kids like a lot.
And that's not going to fly with Clayton because he loves kids.
Not.
Also, making out in front of the kids. One time, my cousin was babysitting a little boy, and I went over to watched the little boy with her, and so did her boyfriend.
Okay.
And and this was years ago. We were in high school, and her boyfriend just started making out on the couch. And I was stuck watching the little kid. And I was like, the little kid is running around. You guys are making out on the couch. This is fucking disgusting.
Inappropriate.
This is inappropriate. It's perverted.
It's inappropriate behavior.
Very.
Can't be accepted.
No.
Cassidy doesn't care.
She doesn't. And Hillary Duff said it best because Cassidy was like, I'm going to go talk to Hillary Duff. I don't care about any of you. She's like talking to Hillary Duff. Hillary Duff is like, please go away. And she had said, I don't think it's going to make her any friends here, but I'm not sure she cares, like, about how just Cassidy's attitude. Pretty spot on. I think also Cassidy dropped that cake, like, on purpose. It was like a classic, like,
Whoa.
Like the gif of the guy
Like
holding the stuff to wash the car.
Right, like invisible person just pushed you over and you dropped the cake.
That upset Genevieve because Genevieve made that cake, and that cake was for Maya.
Maybe my favorite line of the whole night was Genevieve after they're talking like, Cassie, you're not doing anything. You're not participating in anything. Like, you're not doing anything for the date. And Genevieve's like, it's for the kids.
For the kids.
It's for the kids, Vince.
For the kids, Vince. Vince, call me back. Where's the check?
Classic.
Very funny line from Genevieve.
Oh,
and she
my
was
God.
serious.
Dead serious. Like, the way she said it was like, it's for the kids. It was like a whisper. It was like a whisper. Cassie did not care at all. And honestly, after that part of the date, the dinner, the night portion of the date, the evening portion, they're all having a great time with Clayton. Clayton is enjoying everybody's company. Serene, I think Kira he's talking to, Gabby he's talking to, and Cassidy is just like, I'm confident. I got this. Like, she has no problem like talking to the other girls. Once again, like I said, I just feel like she has this all pre-planned in her mind. The line she's going to throw out there. So it worked because at the end of the day, Clayton gave Cassidy the group tape rose.
Created a monster.
Yeah.
In Clayton's mind, it was like, she did make out with me the most.
He's like, what was the best part of my day? Making out by the pool. All right. Whoever we did that with, they get the rose. And I'm sure we'll talk about this as the season goes on, but Clayton he's happy to be there. We've been talking about that. It's starting to become clear that he's in over his head a little bit, where he just, like we're saying, he likes the girl who he gets to make out by the pool with. He's not necessarily seeing the type of drama she's creating with the other girls in the house. I'm sure it'll come out. I think it's coming out probably in the next episode.
Oh, yeah.
But like Clayton right now is just like, oh, this girl's showing me a lot of attention. Yeah. You get a rose.
Cassidy has watched this show many times and she understands it. Like right before they went to commercial, she's like got the rose in her hand and you could tell like a producer was like, you know, how does the rose smell? She said like victory.
Yep.
What was I'm finding it now, specifically, I saw Us Weekly post an article about Cassidy today. She was posting TikToks.
Oh, she posted what is kind of a spoiler, so I don't want to say it.
Okay.
But she is talking about you can go watch it. It's on like Bachelor Instagram accounts and whatnot, or it's in that Us Weekly article. I think she posted a TikTok comparing herself to Sally, and I'm not going to say more about it because I don't want to spoil anything, but it has to do with, obviously, the to be continued.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Reading about it now, it does. Yeah. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't read that Us Weekly article.
So she, she's just living it up as far as, like, this girl is, I don't even know how to describe it. It just feels, it was hard to watch because it just, between her and Shanae, and, like, Shanae clearly getting some kind of coaching material from Cassidy on what they should and shouldn't be doing on the show. It was so bizarre to watch that they, like, it's like they went on this show watching it so many times and they're like, we're just leaning into this. It didn't feel, not that it really ever feels like super genuine watching this show. That felt like we're watching two people on a reality show know they're on a reality show.
Shanae and Cassidy just look exactly alike, which was my biggest problem of the whole night. When it turned in from the Cassidy drama to the Shanae drama, I looked down at my phone, looked back up. I thought I was still watching Cassidy, and then I found out it was Shanae. She did the Shanae, which we will talk about, but very confusing. They look very similar. All of them do, actually. A lot of them look very alike.
When was the last time we had someone who decided they wanted to be the villain? I feel like it's been a couple seasons.
Victoria.
Victoria, Queen
Oh
Victoria.
yeah, true. Yeah, that was pretty recent.
And I still don't even know how much of that, like, she wanted to be the villain. Like, I think she thought people were going to love her.
I forget who told us this, but I heard she's awesome.
Yeah, no.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard she's very nice, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
If you remember this, right?
I remember
I'm
this.
blanking.
I forget who said it, but she's just like, I think it might have been Serena.
I was going to say that because
Yeah,
that's
like,
the last person I remember talking to about any of this.
I think that it was just like, she's just one of those people who is unapologetically herself and like does that whole kind of like throw it and just let's see where it lands just kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, and like that can come across, especially when you're, on a reality TV show. That's how they spun it for her.
Yeah.
So,
but when you get to know people like that, then you know that sometimes they have like the biggest hearts. Like you're like, oh, that's the nicest person. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. We're gonna have to see
Not
more
with
of Cassie
I don't
and,
really think
and
that here.
Shanae if what exactly they thought they were doing. But let's go on to the first one-on-one date. That went to Susie. Before we jump into that, it has been very cold, wet, chilly in New York, big time. It's been snowing, it's been raining, it's just cold. We're in January. And I know that stops a lot of people from going outside, exercising outside, running outside. But Allbirds has their weather repellent performance running shoe. It's the Wool Dasher Mizzle. It's the first shoe of its kind. It's sustainably made from natural materials with a low environmental impact on the planet. And it keeps your feet warm and dry. Like I said, when you are exercising outside, you got goals to meet, miles to log. If you're a runner, these are great. If you love running outside and in the winter you want to keep going, I know New York City, you see all those people on the West Side Highway, they're running. They are still out there and they all need a pair of the weather repellent Wool Dasher Mizzles from Allbirds. They're great. They're super comfortable. Look, personally, I'm not a runner. I'm not. My feet weren't built for running, but they were built for walking. I love walking. I love walking outside, even when it is cold outside. So for me, these are fantastic. You want to go for a walk or, you're meeting, my parents are in the city as well. We take the dogs for a walk, things like that. These are the perfect shoe for those moments. Allbirds printed the Wool Dasher Mizzle's carbon footprint right on the shoe so you know its impact on the planet. Then they offset that footprint to 0 to make it a carbon neutral product. Allbirds built the Wool Dasher Mizzle using natural materials to have a low environmental impact so you can break a sweat without breaking the planet. This winter, keep your feet cozy and dry with Allbirds Wool Dasher Mizzles. Discover your perfect pair at allbirds.com today. That's ALLBIRDS.com. Susie gets the first one-on-one. The date card says, let's take our love to new heights. And they just absolutely knocked this date out of the park. Like, this was a Love Island finale date. They got into a helicopter. The helicopter landed on a yacht. They're in a hot tub on a yacht. Like, it was just... I think they were on a hot tub in a yacht, but I'm pretty sure they were. And it was insane.
This was a Bachelor budget date. I feel like we haven't seen one of these for whatever reason the last couple of years with the pandemic and the bubble seasons and the less travel and all that stuff. For whatever reason, they decided to pull out all the stops last night. And like you said, a helicopter, which would be a good enough date on its own. But then when that helicopter started to approach the yacht, we were just living in a whole different world. And I want to take this opportunity to say that Clayton is once again a very large human being, and to see him packed into the back of that helicopter was very funny. He called me out last week. He brought me into this very room and was like, hey, how does my face look? Because I've been saying that his face and his head are massive, which I still think that's true. But he's just generally a large human being, and to see him and Susie packed into the back of that helicopter with him taking up 95% of the space, I found that to be very funny.
Trent, you're absolutely right. He dominated the backseat of that helicopter. And, of course, all these girls, like, Clayton next to Susie, Clayton can't be like, oh, well, Susie's so small. Like, no, you are still a big guy. His knees, they were tight in that helicopter. They were absolutely tight. Rhea, I have a question for you. Do you know any Susies in your life?
My Aunt Sue.
Okay.
Sometimes we call her Susie.
Susie. Okay.
Older, yeah.
Yeah.
It would appear
Actually, I have
that
two answers.
Do you?
The only-
so far I've been asking people, and everybody's answer is the Aunt like an Aunt Sue and Aunt Susan. I'm like, how about do you have anybody your own age named Susie?
No.
No. I really don't know any.
It's reserved for ants.
Yeah, it is funny. Everyone's just like, well, I got an Aunt Sue. It's like, yeah, of course you do.
I just hit me. I got two.
You got two.
Yeah, you got two Aunt Sues.
Wow.
So they're, obviously enjoying this beautiful date that they have, and then dinner-wise, they. And first of all, I really like Susie. I think she's very sweet. You can see that from the date. She likes to joke around. She said I was the class clown in high school, and good laughs. But of course, it's like the classic Bachelor first date discussion of my parents been married 35 years, whole thing. It was honestly an emotional story because she talked about her dad going through an illness and her not being able to hold his grandson till he got home, and watching her parents together in those moments were it was so powerful to see their connection still and how much they love each other, and she wants that for himself. It was very sweet. That's a very emotional story, and I think she and Clayton I think she's gonna go far with Clayton.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I like her.
I like her a lot.
Yeah, and Clayton is still in the phase where he's not quite sure how to field stories like that yet. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Respond to them,
Yeah.
and which is an early part. Again, I said he's green as the Bachelor, but she did share a very emotional story, and he's going to be getting a lot of that coming his way. So
yeah, I think they have a lot in common personality wise. They seem like they would just get along really well.
Agreed.
And she does get the date rose. They go out. Of course, there is a performance of a very nice song by a beautiful woman whose name was Amanda Jordan, yes.
Nice.
She sang a song, private concert. They're dancing. They had a wonderful time. And it was just a good old-fashioned, solid first one-on-one where it makes you convinced Susie is going to go the distance.
She looks like such a combination of so many people. Hannah Brown, Addison Rae.
I know.
Demi Burnett.
Debbie Ryan.
She
She made a funny TikTok about everyone saying she looked like Debbie Ryan.
looks like a combination of all these people.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw a lot of people on Twitter doing the combo photo of Susie and Clayton on this date and Colton and Hannah Brown on their first date on Colton's season.
there are some similarities there.
There are some similarities.
Yeah. No. All in all, it was a good one-on-one date. A good first one to kind of get. All right, we're back into the Bachelor world.
Yeah, and then this is also when we saw the more footage of Cassidy and Shanae, with Cassidy being like, group date, you gotta get in there early, making coaching her up. It was, and for the group date, it felt like that too, the second group date, when she's talking about Elizabeth taking a seat. She's like, oh, Cassidy would have taken that seat. It's like,
under some sort
get
of
out
spell.
of Cassidy's skin.
Under the
What's
Cassidy
happening?
spell. Yeah, it was very odd.
It really was. So they go on this group date, and they're in a classroom. They're with Z-Way, comedian, and they I don't know, they're taking a game. They're playing a game of Never Have I Ever, and the whole thing, they're sitting at the tables. Elizabeth takes the seat next to Clayton, and I honestly think that is where everything with Elizabeth
Absolutely.
and Shanae stemmed from. If Elizabeth doesn't take that seat, I don't think Shanae says to Clayton that she's two-faced.
No, it's whoever takes that seat.
Yeah.
It gets mentioned in that, whether it's Elizabeth or whoever else was on that date. If you take that seat, that Shanae, she could have taken that seat.
Yeah.
She was the first one in the room, but she just didn't do it for whatever reason, and Elizabeth did. She created an enemy there out of nowhere.
Yeah. What do we think about Clayton sending nude photos? That was the first one. Have you ever sent a nude photo on Never Have I Ever? He said, I have.
I think that's very normal.
Normal, right?
Extremely normal.
There was a lot of people. It seemed like the whole group.
Couldn't be more normal.
Yeah. And then almost all the women
said a nudie?
Why would you don't worry about it?
Well, I know they ain't to me, so I'm worried.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
They also did faking an orgasm. They did cheating on a partner, which they discussed, if it was high school, if it counts or not. And then, have you felt judged by any of the women in the house?
They threw that one in. They were just like, let's talk all about sex. And then Why don't we just
let's
get
talk
some drama
yeah,
going?
Stir up a
exactly.
little bit of drama. Yeah.
So Shanae obviously could not have flipped her paddle faster to I have. She said that she hasn't really been able to be Shanae yet. It's just been Shanae. She's waiting for Shanae to come out. And that is when she felt the urge to stand up in front of the world and actually Nene on TV.
This
and
is the worst Nene of all time.
Multiple times.
It's
multiple times.
And she kept referring to herself as Shanae, basically as two different people. Like, I've been Shanae this whole time. I'm ready to let
She stuck her
Shanae
tongue out
shine.
when she did it. She was like,
I mean, I say this as a person who definitely couldn't Nene. If you don't know that you can definitely do a great Nene,
don't do it.
I would say don't do it, and especially don't do it on national television.
Nobody can do a great nene.
No.
Let's be honest. The nene is not an attractive dance. You guys want me to hit one right now?
Do you think you can
Do you
do a
think you
good
can do a
Nene?
good
No,
one?
I
Do
don't
it.
think I
then
can
don't do it.
Do it.
Then don't do it.
I am not going to nene.
We
Okay.
can't sit
See,
here and
that's
roast.
smart.
We can't sit here and roast Shanae for doing it and then have
And
you
then
get
have
up
me
and
nene.
do it.
No.
But
Just
you're
can't.
doing it ironically. She wasn't.
True. When I nene,
Yeah.
it's for jokes.
And the other
And
thing
I do
is-
it often
Yeah,
around this
yeah.
office. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
And the other, yeah.
I hit the double whip, the nene.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other
I
thing too
really
is that
do.
Shanae thought that hers was great,
Yeah,
and she
no.
kept doing
It
it.
was
Yeah, she did
so bad.
She did keep doing it. Then the ladies
Man.
all got dressed in white for this red flags obstacle course that they had to go through all these I don't even know how to call it. Like, it was in the example of sliding into the DMs, thirst trap, breadcrumbing, and Shanae just during the breadcrumb portion of the obstacle course pushed Elizabeth right over, just flat, just
Took
went
her
over
out.
and just two hands shoved her.
And still didn't win.
Still didn't win.
If you're gonna play dirty, you got to come out on top.
You're right.
You know,
Right.
Because then you're like,
Because that's the excuse. If you push her and then you're like, look, I'm here to win. It's like, well, guess what? You still didn't win.
right. In this scenario, you're just there to push people.
Yeah.
For no reason. You have to win,
Yeah.
and she didn't.
Feel bad for Elizabeth because it's just starting to add up from the pushing to the arguments and everything.
And
we'll
it
get
gets
to,
worse
but
as the episode goes for her.
Yeah, it
and
does.
she's just seems like an innocent bystander.
It does. Sarah actually won the obstacle course, which she
Who's Sarah?
Sarah is the 23-year-old wealth management advisor from New York. Very cute. She
I'm really having
like,
I'm having a hard time picturing Sarah. I'm gonna pull her up.
I'll show you. She's right here.
I
got a
really
picture.
I should know what she looks
Sarah.
like. Yes. Okay.
Sarah.
You got it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Sarah, she
Sarah
is the winner.
or Sarah?
Sarah.
Sarah.
Sarah Smile. You know that song?
Nope.
You don't know? Do any of you know that song?
No.
Yes.
Who's it by?
I don't, but I know it.
Hall & Oates.
Yes.
Great song.
Can you sing it a little bit?
I don't want to.
On.
It's the type of song that I would just sound so bad singing.
Sing it.
Because I bet you they have heard it.
Smile. You know that?
That was amazing.
Does that ring a bell or no?
Not really, no, but I think it is one that I think if the entire group heard it, we would recognize it.
Okay.
It's one of those kinds of songs.
Gotcha.
For sure. Okay. After the obstacle course, Shanae is looking for that rose. She's fighting for that group date rose big time. Like, I don't know if I mean, I actually probably do know. I think she and were like, we're gonna get the group date roses together.
Right,
Like,
we're gonna
you
sweep
go.
the group dates.
Yeah, we're gonna crush these group dates. So she's going in, woman on a mission, and it just backfires. We see Shanae sit down with Clayton, and also, actually, let's take a break quick.
You guys may have seen on social media at this point that Barstool
Big
Sports
announcement.
has a new grooming line. It's called Wood. They have all things from shampoo, conditioner, body wash, beard oil, all to make sure that you are well groomed in your life. Trent, you try the body wash?
I have it all. I've been
You try
using
the
it
shampoo?
all. Yep.
You try the conditioner?
Yep.
How about that beard oil?
fantastic.
That beard's looking nice and smooth.
Thank you. Wood is really great. I use all their products. All the smells are great. I really do love it.
So right now, everybody can try Wood at getwood.com, or you can find it at your local CVS right now. I think it's super cool that Barstool has their own line with the Barstool logo right on it. Right now, you can get scents such as Golden Hour, Summer House, and Fresh Tracks in your life. Smells delicious. Smells amazing.
Fresh Tracks just sounds like a forest.
Yeah.
Piney.
Fresh, one might say.
Yeah.
So, like I said, right now, shop Wood at getwood.com or at your local CVS right now.
All products are also $15 or less. That's a major plus.
Major selling point.
Okay, wait. Also, I don't know because we were watching like with the sound really loud, but so many people were talking about Clayton's kissing on Twitter and on Instagram that he was
Loud noises.
loud smacking, like lip licking situations.
Oh, really?
I didn't notice, and I feel like I really missed out on an opportunity to pay attention to what was happening.
We were watching with it loud?
No, we were. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how he missed it.
I noticed it for sure.
Okay.
And another thing I noticed, and somebody DM'd me last night, had me fucking crying. The way he says appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
I said that.
Noah said that.
Appreciate.
I said appreciate. And somebody DM'd me and said, I'm really drunk right now, but I have to be honest, Clayton has no business pronouncing appreciated like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
appreciate.
Appreciate.
I really appreciate.
Appreciate.
I think it's appreciate.
I think that's kind of how he says it, no matter what.
Yeah.
And apparently
he says it a lot.
And
Yeah,
apparently
he did say a lot.
he licks his lips a lot.
Yeah, that was the thing, because then he tweeted about it himself, and I was like, I just missed all of this.
Poor guy is just getting
No, I heard it.
picked
Yeah,
apart.
lips smacking.
Who was
I
the
guess.
one
Josh
who
Murray
kissed
level.
with his eyes open, and then
Matt.
he had to like openly.
Matt.
Matt, yeah.
That would be really a tough part of being the Bachelor or the Bachelorette.
Yeah.
It's just things that you do
Right.
That you don't even notice.
that you don't notice, and then you
Yeah.
go on, and there's however many millions of people watching, and they're all like, "That guy does that way," and then you're like, "Man, I didn't even notice that until it airs and everyone starts talking about it." That'd be tough.
I'm on
Yeah.
record saying I would never want to be filmed kissing anybody ever.
Think
Like,
that's-
I'm not
I
even
think
sure
that's
I've
fair.
taken a kissing picture.
I think that's an ideal situation.
I think that's fair, because even in a kissing photo that you like think is cute, it doesn't come out cute.
Doesn't translate.
It doesn't translate to the moment a lot of the times. So anyway, that just wanted to throw that out there because so many people were talking about that, and I think I missed it.
I missed it too.
Yeah, so
Maybe our TVs weren't picking it up for whatever reason.
I guess we'll see. We'll see if Clayton's
We have that
kissing
setting off
technique.
on
Yeah.
the TV.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
No.
Oh.
We would have heard that.
Yeah, I guess we definitely would have
was
heard
more
that. A lot of okay. All right. I mean, everybody's fucking kissing experts. It seems
Right,
like on the internet. Like,
actually, you know
that's what I want to say.
I'm going to have Clayton's back here.
Yeah, like I
Let the
personally
man get some slime in.
I personally didn't notice. So
Right, and it's what you guys are saying, where you don't
somebody's
know.
hyper aware of like analyzing all these kisses.
Right, and you don't know until it's in front of millions
Right.
of people. Like these people who are criticizing, I'm sure their kissing isn't perfect. Nobody's a perfect
Yeah.
kisser.
Also, isn't every girl being like, "Oh yeah, he's a great kisser," like right after?
yeah.
Are those? I think those are.
How
the
about
reviews.
everybody on the internet lines up and we all watch how you guys kiss? You all have to kiss each other. All the internet
For
trolls have to kiss
sure.
each other.
Everybody's
You
got
get
to
randomly
make out, put it on video, and then we'll talk
sit
about
here and
it.
judge you.
But the thing is no one would willingly do that.
No,
Exactly.
no,
because
no.
they'd be like, "There's something going
No,
on."
of course not.
How everyone
Kissing
not
is
everything.
an imperfect art. It's just
It
like
is. It's
You're
messy.
just smashing stuff together.
It's messy.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is when Shanae brings to Clayton that Elizabeth is two-faced and here for the wrong reasons. She really has nothing to back up those claims. She just doesn't like Elizabeth, and her strategy is to get Elizabeth out of the way.
Yeah.
Her strategy is Elizabeth is doing too well on this group date. I'm gonna sabotage her, try and get this rose, and that's about it.
And here's the real problem: Shanae is not Cassidy.
She's not handling the
Like-
she's going at like 80% villain, and Cassidy went at 100% villain.
Cassidy is a true blue villain.
Yeah.
She wants to be a villain. She knows what she's doing, and that was her goal the minute she was cast
Right,
on the
she's
show.
hitting her marks.
She's hitting her marks, and then Cassidy tried to pass down the villainals to Shanae, and it gets watered down.
Yeah.
And Shanae doesn't have full commitment. Shanae is just like, "Oh, these are things that I can do to try to cause chaos and disrupt this group date. All right, I'll do that. Thank you for telling me, Cassidy." When it's an instinct.
Yeah.
Being a villain like Cassidy, you just have it or you don't. Cassidy clearly has it.
Right.
Shanae doesn't.
Cassidy's advice of maybe like, I'm also speculating here of like, hey, you know, you got to be kind of a bitch. Shanae maybe took that a little too far when it came to talking about these other women.
And Kelly Keeks had mentioned this, and I think it's true to a degree, that Cassidy saying these things to Shanae and telling her to do these things, that could be an act of sabotage.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, if you go on this date, cause as much chaos just to cause chaos, that'll be great. You know, Clayton will love that. All these other girls will start fighting and you'll come out on top. That could be sabotage because it just doesn't always end up working. You know what I mean?
Well, if you're trying to win this man over, you're not going to give somebody in the house the best advice that you possibly can.
Right.
You don't want them to beat you.
Right. And it
sounds weird to say it like it's a game, but that's kind of...
Cassidy certainly views it as a game.
Yes.
We are also so early on to this that you can tell when like an unsubstantiated here for the wrong reasons is being thrown around. And that's what Shanae was doing. She doesn't really know at all, like, because there's no evidence. Like, Sierra can do it with Cassie because she's like, well, I talked to her. She gave me the ammo.
Right.
And I had it. Here, there's nothing. And Elizabeth honestly handled it really well. She went to, Clayton asked her about it. And she's like, I've only shown her kindness, and by the way, she pushed me during the obstacle course, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but now I am.
The only thing Elizabeth did, quote unquote, wrong was sit in that seat.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
And she had no idea that was wrong.
I think it all came from sitting
100%.
in that fucking seat. And the two women go to talk to each other. Shanae and Elizabeth.
This is where it really gets away from Shanae.
It really does. It really does. They're talking, and Shanae's like, I'm upset with you. You're ignoring me to my face. And she referenced this conversation that she had with NC was involved as well, and that Elizabeth was ignoring her. And Elizabeth then explains, like, I wasn't ignoring you. Like, I wasn't purposely looking at you, but, I have some problems processing, like, auditory inputs. Like, I have ADHD. Like, I was listening to what NC was saying. I wasn't purposely, like, cutting you out or anything. Does not really register with Shanae at all. She's like, no, but you were ignoring me. Like, that was me. And she's like, no, you're not hearing what I'm saying. We think they come to some kind of agreement. They go back to the group, and Clayton gives the group date rose to Sarah, and they all sit there, and then they start going back and forth. Elizabeth and Shanae again, they're talking to each other, and Shanae basically tells the entire group about the ADHD thing, and after that, everyone was like, that's not even Cassie. I noticed even Cassie,
yep.
They were like, you should apologize, like, for that, like, come on. And Cassie was like, yeah, I mean, even you pushed it a little too far,
right?
Yeah, I mean, Shanae just wouldn't give it up about the ADHD thing. Like, Elizabeth explaining that she had ADHD could have just been like, Shanae could have just been like, all right, I understand. Boom, let's move on from this. She held on to that so tightly, and then started saying that she had ADHD, in which she just started throwing out of nowhere. And I think because ADHD is the thing that people just like throw out of nowhere, right? They're like, everyone's like, I have ADHD. It's like, no, it's a very real thing, and you can't just because it's not as serious as other mental health things, or
right.
But
it's
even saying that alone, it is a scale,
ADHD
right?
Is such a scale.
People don't make it out to seem as serious is what I meant.
Yeah.
Is that she thought it was okay to like make fun of her for it, or tell her that she doesn't believe her
like,
for it.
She said fucking little kids have ADHD.
Yeah, like that.
You're just using this as an excuse. Like,
it's like,
oh, it just goes away.
Like, no, it's such a real thing from when you're a kid to adults. I mean, like, it actually impairs people's lives.
Yeah,
it really does.
And at a certain point, Shanae just couldn't reel it in, and to the point where I think she referenced it so many times that she was just like, this is my angle, so now I'm gonna just run with it. It really got away from her in the worst way possible. She came out looking about as bad as you can look.
Yeah, it really was.
For no reason, with this little beef with Elizabeth. No reason,
and then really like doubling down on the ADHD.
No
thing.
reason
like,
to question somebody like that. They say they have something going on with them. Why do you got to question it? It's so wrong to be like, no, you don't actually have that. Like, have no idea. Why would she just say that?
Because I think like Shanae took it so far that I think she was like, I'm fucking stuck now.
Yeah.
Like, I can't backtrack on any of these things that I'm doing. And Elizabeth just gave me like a very valid reason, and now like I'm just gonna have to double down. Like, she just looked like such a jerk.
Also,
such
since we're talking about it in terms of The Bachelor, such a terrible quality to have in a significant other as well, right? Say Clayton had something wrong with him or some sort of thing going on that he wanted to talk about seriously with Shanae. Where's she gonna be like, no, I don't believe you? Like, that's just a terrible quality to have in yourself.
Not great.
Yeah, basically just saying like Shanae's concerns were much more important than Elizabeth's, and that kind of gets somewhat put on hold for a little bit because this is like, now we're cocktail party. I hear you guys playing footsie under the table.
I just moved my foot and I accidentally put it on top of Rhea's, and that was just an honest mistake. And then she started kicking my foot.
Oh man.
Sometimes I feel like Clayton in this seat where I'm a large human being, and
Cassidy,
I'm trying to figure out where to put my feet. That's all.
So,
getting
I
shy.
also want to mention this one part of this date as well. This happened a little bit earlier, but Trent, we were dying laughing at this. Marlena, who seems so fucking cool. Remember Rhea? You were here, Trent. We talked about her, the bios, Olympian.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
And
yes.
And
the Olympian that for some reason goes unnoticed.
It's like, it's unbelievable. Like, please, for the love of God, how is this woman not getting any like screen time, and we have to watch Elizabeth and Shanae go back and forth. But Clayton's like, going into that obstacle course, you were great, like not even track and field level, like Olympian. And she's like, well, I had just so happened to be an Olympian. And Trump was like, what does Clayton know about? Like, is he a track and field coach?
Right. Is he a scout for track and field that he can be like, man, that wasn't collegiate level. That felt.
Maybe they told him like, hey, there's one Olympian. Try to find
out.
out.
Yeah, we have to figure out who
that
it
was
is.
a quick 40.
Right. Yeah. They had to have set him up, or maybe it was like a game where he had to go around and try to figure out who is the Olympian. Just a very funny setup.
Guess
very
the Olympian.
funny. Yes.
Yeah. Like, it was just such a funny like opening for Clayton to be like, that was like Olympic level stuff. It's like,
well, funny you should mention it.
Yeah.
I'm an Olympian.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, okay.
So good.
Oh man. And then we close. We're on this to be continued, and we close on Cassidy once again bragging. She's confident. She's feeling good about her time with Clayton. Sierra goes to Clayton. She's like, he needs to know who Cassie really is. She's a snake, this whole thing. And so we watched the clip of Cassidy and Sierra talking, which was rare. I feel like we normally don't see that.
Not only did we get the clip, but it was subtitled.
Yeah, totally subtitled. And it's like, she's talking about this fuck buddy that she has, that he FaceTimed her while she was at the hotel. She told him she was about to leave for filming a show, couldn't tell him what for. And he was like, oh, we'll watch when you come back. And he's younger. She also mentioned that as well. and like, this was the last part. Said, oh my God, on that FaceTime, he was like, well, whatever the show is you're on, like, I can't wait for you to get back. Let's watch it together. And so Sierra takes that story to Clayton, that info to Clayton.
And then we see Clayton ask if he can take back a rose, in which we have never seen before.
Nope.
Amazing.
And this is all very exciting. I'm into the season.
So we had a lengthy discussion last night about whether that's a justified reason for Clayton to take that rose back. And I would be interested to hear what you have to say, because we're talking about
was
a situation.
This on Cutting Stems?
Yeah, it was. So we were talking about, because obviously if someone shows up and they have a boyfriend or a girlfriend when they show up, that is grounds for taking back a rose or whatever. Where is the line with friends with benefits, as Cassidy referred to it? Like, is that okay to have before you come on the show or not? Is that a reason to take the rose away, to send someone home? What are your thoughts on that, Rhea?
I am so confused about that, because it's like, I feel like before you go on this show, you should cut off all ties with people you have any romantic relationships with.
Sure.
In case, because a friends with benefits only means so much, right?
Yeah.
People are hooking up. They have feelings for each other in some aspect, whether you want to label it friends with benefits or not.
Yeah.
So I feel like you should cut off all romantic ties, because there is a chance that you may end up with The Bachelor.
Right.
And if you don't think there's an actual chance that you may end up with The Bachelor, what's the point of going on the show? in which then turns into the discussion that people just go on because they want to be famous at this point.
Correct.
So I think that if she did not cut off ties with him and she said, I'll be back, bad. Can't be having that. If she had it up until the point and then cut it off, what are you supposed to do about that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's about whether or not she cut it off, in my opinion, before she left or not.
And the other conclusion that we came to was that you can't be telling people about it.
No, what an idiot.
Yeah, that's exactly. Like,
can't-
it's like, I bet you there are so many, I'm sure there are so many contestants who like are dating or seeing people before they go on the show, and then they find out that they're going on the show, and whether they tie up those loose ends or not, you can definitely go on the show and make it work. You just can't be telling other people on the show,
These people are
especially The
idiots.
Bachelor. You can't be telling other girls like, oh, I was seeing this guy. Like, are you kidding
That's
me?
getting back to him in a millisecond.
I see,
Yeah.
though, why people get fooled into this, right?
Yeah.
You got no connection to the outside world. You don't have
Yeah.
phones. You don't have TV. All you have to do is talk, right? So you're laying in bed. It's like slumber party vibes. You guys
Yeah.
start talking about the past people you dated. You just start talking about life in general. I could see myself being like, you guys want to know something? And then all of a sudden, I find myself in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could see it's just a very dumb thing to do.
Yep.
Like, you have to remind yourself before you go in there, like, I can't really trust anybody until after this show is over. Right? Like, you can't just automatically assume that these girls are going to be your besties when they're competing for the same man as you.
Right. And I
Yep.
will say that I don't know how bothered Cassidy will be about, like, she doesn't seem like the type. She seems like she was bragging, and she would be kind of into bragging.
She's
about
gonna
it.
blow this up for her own advantage 100%, like
Right.
on social media when we see this whole all play out in 2 weeks because of playoffs. We don't have an episode next week. So it's definitely going to be discussed. It's going to be discussed a lot. She's probably going to try and leverage it to get on Paradise. Not shocking at all. She clearly wants to be a reality TV gal or quote unquote influencer, if that's what she wants to call it. But yeah, it's like you can compare it to having a boyfriend or girlfriend or like ending things right before or whatever. The other tough part for me is too, which I think like for The Bachelor is where it is a problem, is when you hear about the quote unquote plans after the show.
Yeah.
Right? Like if it's like, oh, I was seeing someone, but it's not that serious. Like, I swear, like, I'm here for you, like, whatever. But when the story is like, yeah, he said like he can't wait to see her when she gets back and they can watch the show together.
Because she knows what show she's going on.
Yeah, of course. Exactly.
Right.
That's
and,
bad.
And then like that is going to come off to the guy who's the Bachelor like, oh, she doesn't give a fuck about me. She's ready to be on TV and go back with this dude and watch her episode.
Yeah,
Right.
and as a Bachelor, you have no idea who this dude is or
Yeah,
anything. You start
exactly.
getting
You have
jealous
no
about
idea.
that. All
Yeah.
of a sudden, you have to worry about a guy with a girl you're not even in a relationship with.
Yeah.
It's already adding
Right.
drama.
This is also Clayton. Like we're talking the Bachelor, Bachelorette. They are so in their own heads that like all these women or men have to be here for me.
Yeah.
That you get a little inkling that someone isn't. It's a hit to the ego. You want them gone immediately. You're
For
like,
sure.
oh, fuck this person. Like, oh, you're gone.
And also viewing it from the Bachelor's shoes, you look at that situation, you say, oh, wait, I've got 27, 26 other girls who actually are here
Right.
for me. I don't have to deal with that.
Yep.
So it makes it an easy way to,
Yep.
hopefully, I hope he takes back the rose because that'll be an incredible moment.
Yeah, well.
First time, crowd's going to go
The
wild.
trailer looks the preview looked insane because she's like wagging that rose around. She's like, I got a rose.
Yes.
I got
And
a
he's just going to come snatch it. What a moment that's going to be if it happens. I hope that
I
it does.
really hope it does. I really hope it does. And I'm excited to see how Jesse Palmer handles that because they ended on like a moment of Jesse Palmer being like, I don't fucking know the answer to that.
I'm new.
I'm new here. I stopped watching. I don't know what the rules are.
I'm such a big Jesse Palmer fan. Each week he gets better and better. Just he is so professional and he's got the host abilities.
Yeah.
But also he seems so new to it, which he is, that he gets surprised by things like this, just like we do. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what happens.
I don't know.
Let's find out.
We're gonna find out. Why don't you try it and let's see what happens.
Right.
All right, so that wraps it up for the Bachelor recap this week. We'll be back in 2 weeks. There will be no episode, so we'll just have a regular episode on next Wednesday. Maybe we'll just bring Trent in to talk about something silly.
I said that right before the show, and Trent said, I don't know how I feel
Well,
about that.
because you framed it and you said, let's interview Trent. And I said
And then I quickly took it back and said, we won't do anything personal.
I'll come in next week.
Maybe we'll just do topics with you.
Okay.
Just for fun.
I would
Just
love
for
to do that.
funsies.
People
Okay.
would love that.
They would. All right, that wraps it up.